Ladies and gentlemen, imagine if, for just 3 days, the only voice inside your head was one that lifted you up instead of tearing you down. What if, instead of criticizing every mistake, you guided yourself with wisdom and hope? What if, in moments of doubt, your own words became your greatest source of strength? Most people talk to themselves every day without realizing it. But here's the truth. The conversations you have with yourself are the most important conversations you will ever have. They shape your confidence, your choices, and ultimately, your future. Yet, so many of us speak to ourselves with harshness we would never use on a friend. We replay failures, magnify our flaws, and let fear dictate our decisions, and then we wonder why we feel stuck. But what if you changed that voice? Just for 3 days. What if instead of tearing yourself down, you began building yourself up with words that were honest, hopeful, and filled with purpose? What if you spoke to yourself the way you would speak to someone you deeply believe in? I'm not asking you to lie to yourself with fake positivity. I'm asking you to try something real, to guide yourself with truth, challenge yourself with courage, and inspire yourself with clarity. Just 3 days of intentional self-talk can shift not only how you think, but how you live. Are you ready to hear the most powerful voice you will ever know? It's yours. Let's begin. The words you speak to yourself hold a power greater than most realize. In the quiet corners of your mind, where no one else can hear, a dialogue takes place, one that shapes how you see yourself and the world around you. This inner conversation is not mere background noise, it is a force that directs your thoughts, feelings, and actions. When your self-talk is filled with doubt, fear, or self-criticism, it becomes a chain that holds you back from reaching your potential. On the other hand, when it carries clarity, courage, and kindness, it becomes a compass, guiding you through life's trials with resilience and hope. Consider how quickly your mood can shift after hearing a harsh word from someone else. Now, imagine the impact of harsh words spoken from within, day after day. Negative self-talk is insidious because it comes from a voice you trust, your own. It labels you with limitations, convinces you that you are unworthy, and distorts your view of reality. You may fail once and hear your inner voice say, "I always fail," as if one setback defines your entire story. But what if you could change the conversation? What if your voice said, "I've learned from this, and I'll try again differently"? Such a shift seems simple, but its power is profound. The truth is that your brain listens to your words and shapes your beliefs accordingly. When you repeatedly speak to yourself with kindness and determination, your thoughts begin to align with those words. The world outside may be chaotic, but within you create a space of certainty. You become both the student and the teacher, the one who falls and the one who lifts yourself up. When you call yourself weak, your actions follow. When you call yourself capable, you move forward, even if your hands tremble. This inner dialogue becomes most powerful in moments of decision. When fear whispers that you are not ready, or failure shouts that you should give up, what you say to yourself in these moments matters more than what anyone else says. Encouragement from others can inspire you for a moment, but the words you speak to yourself can sustain you for a lifetime. You carry this voice everywhere, into opportunities, conflicts, and crossroads. It can either sabotage you or save you. But the beauty of this truth is that you are the author of the script. You can rewrite your dialogue at any time. It may feel unnatural at first, like planting seeds in barren soil, yet with patience, those seeds will take root. Speak to yourself with the same compassion you would offer a friend who is struggling. When your inner critic says, "You can't," let another voice reply, "Try once more." When fear says, "It's hopeless," let your heart say, "Over time, your mind will begin to echo the voice you choose, and when that happens, the world may not change immediately, but you will." that changes everything. Inside every person lives a voice that is quick to judge, criticize, and remind you of every flaw and failure. This voice, often known as the inner critic, seems to speak with authority, but its power comes not from truth, but from repetition. It is the voice that says, "You're not good enough," "You'll never succeed," or "Everyone else is better than you." It thrives on comparison and self-doubt, feeding on your insecurities until it feels like a permanent part of your identity. Yet, what many fail to realize is that this voice is not an enemy to be silenced, but a challenge to be answered. A voice that can be confronted, questioned, and ultimately transformed. The first step is to recognize that your inner critic is not the voice of reality, but a voice of fear. It often arises from past experiences, moments of failure, rejection, or disappointment. It tries to protect you from future pain by keeping you small, warning you not to try because trying risks failure. But protection through limitation is not safety, it is imprisonment. When the inner critic says, "You're not ready," it rarely offers proof. It speaks in assumptions, not facts. The question is, will you accept its judgment without a trial, or will you challenge its claims? Challenging your inner critic does not mean denying your weaknesses. It means responding with honesty and fairness. If it says, "You always fail," answer, "That's not true. I have failed before, but I have also succeeded." If it says, "You're not talented enough," respond, "Perhaps I need more practice, but effort builds skill." This is not self-deception, it is clarity. The critic distorts, but you bring truth. It accuses, but you present evidence. Over time, you will find that many of the critic's harshest words crumble under the weight of honest self-reflection. It is also important to confront the tone of your inner voice. The critic often speaks in absolutes. Always, never, impossible. These are the words of a closed mind. Open minds ask, "What can I learn? What can I change? How can I improve?" When you adopt the voice of curiosity rather than condemnation, your mistakes become teachers, not verdicts. You may still hear the critic, but it will lose its authority, because it cannot argue against a voice willing to grow. Lastly, understand that the goal is not to destroy your inner critic, but to transform it into an inner guide. Criticism, when tempered by compassion, becomes wisdom. Doubt, when met with determination, becomes growth. Fear, when answered with courage, becomes fuel. The voice inside you will never be silent, but it can change its nature. And when it does, it will no longer be a voice of shame, but a voice of challenge. A voice that pushes you forward, not holds you back. The dialogue within you is ongoing. Let it be a conversation, not a condemnation. Let it be a path to clarity, not confusion. And above all, let it lead you, not limit you. When you speak to yourself, you have the power to choose your words. Words that can either build or break you. Many people fall into one of two traps. Either they are relentlessly harsh with themselves, tearing down their confidence with every mistake, or they drown themselves in empty positivity that ignores the reality of their struggles. But there is a middle path, a way to talk to yourself that is both honest and hopeful, realistic yet uplifting. This kind of self-talk becomes a source of clarity and strength, guiding you through challenges without losing heart. Honesty with yourself means facing the truth, even when it is uncomfortable. It means admitting when you are wrong, recognizing your weaknesses, and accepting that you are not perfect. But honesty should never turn into cruelty. Many people confuse self-awareness with self-attack, believing that harsh criticism will push them to improve. In reality, it only creates fear, doubt, and shame. When you call yourself a failure, you are not being truthful. You are being unkind. Failure is something you experience, not something you are. The truth is always more balanced. You may have failed, but you are also capable of learning and trying again. Hope, on the other hand, is the companion of honesty. It is the belief that improvement is possible, that effort has meaning, and that your story is still being written. Hopeful self-talk does not deny difficulties. It acknowledges them while pointing beyond them. Instead of saying, "I'll never get through this," you say, "This is hard, but I will find a way." Hope does not guarantee success, but it makes success possible because it keeps you moving forward when giving up feels easier. The most powerful conversations you will ever have are the ones you have with yourself in moments of failure, fear, and uncertainty. These are the moments when your inner voice shapes your path. If it speaks with cruelty, you will shrink under its weight. If it speaks with false positivity, you will ignore important lessons. But if it speaks with both truth and encouragement, you will stand up, face the challenge, and grow stronger through it. Imagine a friend who sees your struggles. Would you want them to lie to you, saying everything is fine when it clearly isn't? Or would you want them to tear you down, saying you are hopeless and should give up? No. You would want them to tell you the truth with kindness, to acknowledge your pain but remind you of your strength. You must be that friend to yourself. Speaking with honesty and hope for just 3 days can change how you see yourself. You will catch your inner critic twisting your failures into identity and correct it with truth. You will hear your fears whisper that the road ahead is too hard, and you will answer with courage. You will see that the voice that matters most, the one that shapes your life, is the one that comes from within. And when that voice speaks with both clarity and compassion, you will not only hear it, you will believe it. The words you repeat to yourself hold the power to shape your beliefs, decisions, and even your future. Repetition is more than a habit, it is a form of self-programming. Just as a river shapes the land through constant flow, your repeated thoughts carve pathways in your mind, turning passing ideas into firm convictions. What you tell yourself once may pass unnoticed, but what you tell yourself daily becomes part of who you are. This is why the voice inside your head matters. Because repetition turns whispers into beliefs, and beliefs into reality. Most people underestimate the power of their inner dialogue because they assume their thoughts are harmless. But the truth is that repeated negative thoughts create patterns of doubt, fear, and insecurity. If you constantly say to yourself, "I'm not good enough," your mind begins to accept that statement as fact. Soon you hesitate to take risks, fearing failure before you even begin. If you tell yourself, "I can't change," you stop trying and the prophecy fulfills itself. Repetition is how small doubts grow into walls that trap you. But this same power of repetition can be used to build, not destroy. When you repeatedly affirm your strengths, your goals, and your ability to improve, your mind begins to accept those ideas as reality. This is not about blind positivity or ignoring your struggles. It is about choosing which truths to emphasize. Saying, "I can learn from this," every time you face a setback, rewires your response to failure from shame to growth. Saying, "I am capable," in moments of fear, replaces paralysis with courage. Over time, these statements stop being things you say and start becoming things you believe. Repetition also brings clarity, because the more you hear something, the more you reflect on it. When you repeat a phrase like, "I am responsible for my choices," it confronts you daily, forcing you to think about how your actions align with your values. Through repetition, your self-talk becomes not just encouragement, but a form of self-guidance, a reminder of who you are and who you wish to become. However, repetition only works when it is consistent and sincere. You cannot simply chant positive words and expect change without meaning them. The power is not in empty slogans, but in words that carry truth and purpose. Speak to yourself with conviction, even if you do not feel it fully at first. In time, the feeling will follow the words. The mind learns through patterns, and repetition is how patterns are formed. If you speak with self-doubt, you will live with self-doubt. If you speak with hope and determination, those qualities will take root. The voice you hear most is your own. So let it be a voice that lifts you. Start with 3 days of intentional self-talk, repeating words that empower rather than weaken you. You will find that the more you repeat these truths, the more natural they become. And one day, without realizing it, you will stop needing to say them, because you will have become them. The conversations you have with yourself are not just thoughts. They are reflections of your values, your conscience, and your understanding of the world. When you speak to yourself with a sense of morality and self-reflection, you invite wisdom into your decisions. Many people live their lives listening only to their emotions, anger, fear, excitement, without ever questioning them. But emotions, though powerful, are not always reliable guides. They need a companion, a voice that is both thoughtful and fair. Speaking to yourself through the lens of a moral compass means asking, what is right, instead of simply, what do I want? It means balancing desire with integrity and impulse with wisdom. Self-reflection is the practice of looking inward, not only to understand your feelings, but also to challenge them. When you feel envy, self-reflection says, why do I feel this way? Is it because I lack something, or because I have forgotten what I already have? When you are angry, it says, is my anger justified, or is it pride in disguise? Without self-reflection, emotions become masters, and you their servant. But with it, emotions become messengers, guides that you can hear, question, and understand. A moral compass in self-talk is equally important because it reminds you that your actions have consequences beyond yourself. It asks questions that demand more than self-interest. Is this choice fair? Will it harm someone else? Would I want to be treated this way? Without this compass, self-talk can become a tool of excuses and justifications. It can say, I deserve this, even if it's wrong. Or, no one will know, so it doesn't matter. But when your inner voice is guided by principles rather than convenience, it becomes a voice you can trust. A voice that leads you to decisions you will not regret. This kind of self-talk does not always bring comfort. In fact, it often brings discomfort, because honesty is rarely easy. It may tell you that you are wrong when your pride says otherwise. It may tell you to forgive when your anger craves revenge. But though this voice is difficult, it is also your greatest ally. It is the voice that protects your future self from the regret of impulsive choices. It is the voice that, in moments of confusion, brings clarity by reminding you not only of who you are, but of who you wish to be. The most remarkable thing about self-reflection, guided by a moral compass, is that it transforms mistakes into wisdom. When you fall short, and you will, it helps you ask, what can I learn from this failure, rather than how can I hide it? It turns guilt into growth and regret into resolve. For 3 days, speak to yourself not only with honesty but with integrity. Let your inner voice question your motives, challenge your assumptions, and guide your choices. You may find that this voice, though it sometimes feels harsh, is ultimately your greatest friend, the one who knows your flaws and still believes in your ability to do what is right. The conversations you have with yourself shape more than your thoughts. They shape your direction. Self-talk that focuses on goals and purpose brings clarity to your path and discipline to your actions. Without purpose, the mind wanders aimlessly, pulled by distractions and fleeting desires. But when you remind yourself daily of what truly matters, your thoughts become a compass and your actions follow that direction. Speaking to yourself with purpose is not about repeating empty slogans. It is about aligning your inner dialogue with your deepest values and highest goals. When you set a goal, it is easy to feel motivated at first, but motivation fades and obstacles arise. This is when your self-talk becomes crucial. The mind will try to protect you from discomfort by whispering, "It's too hard," or "maybe another time." But if your inner voice is guided by purpose, it will answer, "The difficulty is part of the journey, and now is exactly the time to act." Purpose-driven self-talk does not ignore pain or struggle. It acknowledges them, but keeps you anchored to why you began in the first place. A clear sense of purpose also brings order to your choices. Without it, you will find yourself chasing everything and achieving nothing. But when you speak to yourself with your goals in mind, decisions become simpler. You begin to ask, does this choice bring me closer to my purpose or pull me away from it? Over time, this clarity transforms your habits because your mind stops negotiating over every small decision. You stop arguing with yourself about whether to start or quit. You simply follow the path your purpose has set. But self-talk about purpose is not only for times of action, it is equally important during times of failure. When you fall short of your goals, the voice of discouragement may say, "You've failed, so why continue?" But the voice of purpose says, "This setback is a chapter, not the conclusion." Purpose-driven self-talk reframes failure as part of the process. It reminds you that progress is not always visible, but is always possible if you continue. This kind of self-talk also brings a deep sense of fulfillment because it keeps your eyes on something larger than fleeting success. Goals guided by true purpose are not just about personal achievement. They often connect to how you can serve, create, or contribute. When you remind yourself daily of the why behind your goals, your work becomes more than a task. It becomes a mission, and when your inner dialogue aligns with your mission, your actions gain power because they are rooted in meaning. Speak to yourself with your goals and purpose in mind for just 3 days, and you will feel the difference. Your doubts will not vanish, but your direction will become clearer. Your struggles will not disappear, but they will feel worthwhile. And most importantly, your voice, the one that speaks to you when no one else is listening, will become a source not of confusion, but of clarity. And with that clarity, you will not only move forward, you will move forward with meaning. In these 3 days of intentional self-talk, you are not simply changing your words, you are reshaping your mind and your future. You have confronted your inner critic with truth and turned self-doubt into self-awarenessness. You have spoken with honesty and hope, balancing reality with optimism. You have embraced the power of repetition, understanding that what you say consistently becomes what you believe deeply. You have guided your thoughts with integrity, allowing your moral compass to shape your choices. And you have reminded yourself daily of your goals and purpose, keeping your heart and mind fixed on what truly matters. This journey is not about perfection, but progress. You may stumble, you may doubt, but if you continue to speak to yourself with clarity, courage, and compassion, your inner voice will become your greatest ally. Over time, you will find that the dialogue you hold within shapes the destiny you create without. Good luck on this powerful journey of self-discovery and growth. May your inner voice always guide you with wisdom, strength, and hope. Trust that every word you speak to yourself has the power to shape your reality. You are capable of more than you know. Just give yourself the chance to believe it. Thank you for allowing me to share this message with you. Your time, attention, and willingness to reflect mean everything. May you carry these words beyond 3 days, into your weeks, your months, and your life. Speak to yourself with truth, hope, and purpose, and watch how your world begins to change.